In tonight's cover story, a battle over benefits. A U.S. Army veteran is waging the most important fight of his life against the Veterans Administration.
It is a legal case. It could help millions of military veterans go to school. And a Chicago lawyer took it all the way to the Supreme Court. WGN's Mike Lowe reports.
On a break from his job as an FBI bomb technician, Jim Rudisill is sitting with his lawyer, discussing his explosive role in one of the most significant legal cases involving military veterans in recent memory.
I was very proud to be able to represent the veterans community, especially the post 9/11 veterans community, in this cause.
He's taking on the Department of Veterans Affairs in the Supreme Court, claiming the VA shorted him out of benefits he earned on the battlefield. Rudisill joined the U.S. Army in 2000 and served for 2 years, then went to Appalachian State University under the GI Bill. In the aftermath of 9/11,
make no mistake, the United States will hunt down and punish those responsible for these cowardly acts.
He joined the military again. This time, he served 1 combat tour in Afghanistan and 2 in Iraq. In 2005, he was wounded in a roadside bomb attack in Iraq and had to be medically evacuated from a combat zone to Balad Air Force Base.
Part of looking for IEDs is a lot of times they find you, you don't find them.
Rudisill was recognized with the Bronze Star. After 6 years in war zones, he decided to leave the Army and return to civilian life.
Getting out of the Army was hard.
His attachment to the service stayed strong.
One of the hardest parts about coming home was losing soldiers.
What he witnessed on the home front,
losing soldiers to suicide,
was heartbreaking.
Losing soldiers to addiction, that was very difficult. And there's a lot of guilt that goes along with that. You ask yourself, is there something that I could have done to have made a difference?
He found an answer in his faith and committed to return to the military as a chaplain who could help guide his fellow soldiers through their struggles.
One thing that helped me more than any group therapy session or trying to have someone talk me through my own issues was just being in the presence of others, letting them see you out there in the field with covered in mud just like they are, suffering just like they are, with weight on your back and weariness in your knees.
He planned to go to graduate school using a generous new GI Bill, the one that Congress passed after the 9/11 terrorist attacks. He was admitted to Yale Divinity School, and he expected to use the post-9/11 GI Bill to pay for the Ivy League graduate degree. But when he applied to the VA to use those benefits he earned, he was denied.
That prevented me from pursuing that goal.
Under federal law, higher education payouts for veterans are capped at 48 months. The peacetime Montgomery GI Bill functions kind of like financial aid. Veterans pay into the program and receive a check that can be used for tuition for up to 36 months. The much more generous post-9/11 GI Bill is more like a full scholarship. It pays colleges and universities directly for tuition, fees, books, and housing. Rudisill used about 25 months of his Montgomery GI Bill benefits to earn his bachelor's degree. At the time, the post-9/11 bill didn't even exist. But when it came time for grad school, he wanted to use those better benefits. Here's where it gets complicated. The Department of Veterans Affairs denied the post-9/11 benefits, saying Rudisill had already started using the less generous Montgomery benefits and had to exhaust the remaining 11 months before he could switch to the post-9/11 benefits. It put Yale out of reach, and the dream of attending the prestigious Divinity School was lost in the VA's Byzantine bureaucracy.
Really confusing, and that's why I reached out to my attorneys.
It's based on the VA's misreading of the statutory text.
Misha Saitlin, a Chicago-based attorney with experience arguing before the Supreme Court, took the case pro bono.
And these are truly life-changing benefits.
The legal battle would take nearly as long as Rudisill's time in uniform. 8 years through the lower courts, working all the way up to the U.S. Supreme Court. Rudisill, now 43, had aged out of active service as a chaplain.
I was upset that I was not being allowed to utilize the funds that I earned.
In a brief ahead of the arguments at the Supreme Court, VA Secretary Dennis McDonough said, "There is no dispute that veterans who wish to use all 36 months of their Montgomery benefits can do so. What Congress was giving veterans was a choice, but the fact that this choice came with consequences or fewer options than Mr. Rudisill would have preferred is not at all hard to fathom. That is what Congress routinely does." During oral arguments, Justice Brett Kavanaugh seemed skeptical.
It's not a revocation of your entitlement. After you use up your Montgomery, the thing that caps you is the 48-month limit.
Right, and so what 33...
Correct. So you still can get your post 9/11 after using up Montgomery.
While Chief Justice John Roberts signaled his agreement with Rudisill.
But it seems to me to be a pretty raw deal to say you're going to lose. You're entitled, if you hadn't done anything other than the 9/11, you would be entitled to this. But because you served additional period of time, you don't get the whole 9/11. You've got to exhaust this other less generous plan first.
There was a hot engagement on the bench about the disagreement between us and the VA, and we were pleased that I think the justices seemed to get what we were arguing.
Attorneys general from the District of Columbia and 33 states, including Illinois' Kwame Raoul, have signed a brief in support of Rudisill's position. The case has vast implications. If the court were to decide in the favor of Rudisill, 1.7 million veterans could be eligible for more benefits.
This feels like I'm serving my fellow veterans by pushing this forward.
For Rudisill, who dreamed of serving his country and later wished to bolster soldiers' spirits on the battlefield, the most important impact of his military career may come in court.
I did earn these benefits. This case has taken on a seriousness much, much deeper than me on my own.
Mike Lowe, WGN News.